right, guys, welcome back to another stream. Let me just get this mic in front of me. How's everybody doing? Got some people in the chat already. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You guys know we're going to give people just another minute here before we get going. So I'm going to play the old intro just to get started, and we'll be back with you guys in just a moment.
3, 2, 1.
My name is Nick. I'm a full-time Forex trader and entrepreneur. We put out tons of stuff for free.
These are real trades. This is real money. I'm putting my money on the line.
This is going to be a live trading video.
Here, locking in over $1,000 on this trade.
Wow, I'd love to get in on this.
Technical insights that really look good to me.
There we go. We're live. And there you have it. Good morning, good afternoon. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How is everybody doing out there in the world? Thank you for joining me on another live stream. As you guys know, we use these streams to go through the markets and talk trading. I had a special request today from a member inside of the private group to take a look at the euro against the New Zealand dollar, which just so happens to be a very interesting topic today because both of those currencies are actually fairly strong right now. We will take a look at the euro against the New Zealand in just a moment. Shout out to Hypedful, who is the one who requested euro NZD. We'll take a look at that in just a moment. But check this out. Let's look at the currency heat map, and I want to show you guys this before we get into it. So here on the website, you guys can come anytime you want to the website, a1trading.com, and use our free tools here. But one of the things that we have on the site is the currency heat map, and you can see that the euro is very strong today, but so is the New Zealand. So sure enough, looking at these two currencies is going to be an interesting one because you've kind of got one bull against another bull, and they're kind of just pushing each other back and forth. While we're here, we'll take a look at some of the other ones of the day. So you've got the dollar sort of flat, the yen flat. Well, yen slightly negative today, which we're going to talk about more going into today's content a little bit more. So stick with me. We'll get to that point. With that, we also have the pound. Talking a little bit of red territory for the pound. You've got the Swiss franc looking actually kind of bullish today. The Aussie sort of bullish. The CAD pretty flat. And then, of course, like I said, so the New Zealand and the euro looking fairly bullish. So let's go look at the euro New Zealand for a moment. Just like I said, as a request from one of our members inside of the private group to take a look at this one today. So we'll check it out. Okay, so euro New Zealand. Like I said, you've got two currencies that are pretty bullish right now. The euro has been on a tear to the upside, and the New Zealand is not far behind. You've got some nice moves there. So what do we do with a currency pair like this where both are strong? Well, the big thing that I'm going to say for the start is usually when two currencies are strong, we usually see it just chopping back and forth, which from a daily chart perspective, you can see is pretty evident here on the euro New Zealand. You've got a lot of chop back and forth and not a lot of decisive movement. Recently, with the euro doing its thing, we've actually seen euro New Zealand rally a bit here, but we've come to a point here where you've got some hesitations from the bulls there. So let's take a little bit closer look at this one here. So euro New Zealand drawing in a level of resistance here that is pretty significant. Of course, we've got this level here, which is right around 1.7. So 1.7 seems to be a pretty big barrier for price. And as we look at euro New Zealand, like I said, you've got sellers up in this area, but from like the big picture standpoint, you've got pretty interesting chop back and forth because both of these currencies are quite strong. Right now, I don't have a super strong preference. Now, if you had asked me back during this time, I was very much more bearish on the euro and much more bullish on the New Zealand. Fast forward to where we are currently, we've sort of done a little bit of a shift. So we've actually seen a little bit of some higher highs, some higher lows, and you've seen the euro New Zealand do a little bit of this this rally to the upside. So it's not that I have a strong opinion on the direction of this, but I will say that right now the bulls seem like they're holding their own, putting in those higher lows. So from a big picture daily chart perspective, yes, we are at resistance in what was a strong downtrend, but we've sort of entered into this range bound market. So right now I don't have a strong prediction of where price goes here. Like I said, I'm pretty bullish on the euro right now, and I'm actually fairly bullish on the New Zealand as well. So both of these currencies are ones that I kind of like. So let's drop it down to the 4-hour chart and see if there's anything that we can sort of talk about here. I would say that from a price action standpoint, if we were to see something like this, a break and retest could be good for a long scenario if you are quite bullish on the euro. But if you're not, watch to see if this level truly fails, because right now we're basically just consolidating at a level of resistance. What that means is that bulls and bears are both kind of just battling it out. There's not a strong, decisive move for price just yet, and until we see that, there's really nothing here for me. So from a fundamental perspective, bullish on both. So I can't really say that I think it's going up or I think it's going down. If anything, I would expect it to chop back and forth. So with that, the natural reaction would be, well, we are at resistance. We're expecting price to probably chop back and forth based on my fundamental bias. So if anything, maybe a move back to this trend line would not be out of the question for possibilities for Euro New Zealand. That would just be my perspective. Again, this is a currency pair right now that I don't have a lot of interest in trading myself, because I'm pretty bullish on the euro, pretty bullish on the New Zealand. So whenever I'm bullish on two currencies, crossing them, I have no interest in really trading them, because I like to trade something that is strong versus something that is weak. Let's take a look, for example, then at one currency pair that I am currently long on, which is Euro Yen. So Euro Yen, I talked about this trade yesterday on stream, and I shared this inside of the private group for members in our Discord channel. I talked about this Euro Yen trade that I got in. So I jumped in here, sent the alert out to members, and things are looking really good for Euro Yen. So I'm bullish on this currency. Now let's talk about this a little bit different than Euro New Zealand. So if we look at Euro Yen, we're talking about EJ, right? So if we're looking at EJ, I'm bullish on this currency pair because, number one, I'm not a fan of the yen right now. The yen is a risk-off currency. People buy it during times of fear, and Japan is struggling with lockdowns, and they're just not the ideal place for growing money, in my opinion, right now. That can change in the sense that, if things get scary in the world, people might not be looking for yield so much. Maybe they're looking to conserve and protect their capital. In that case, maybe there's a bid up for the yen. But right now, the yen is just not a favorable place to be because people are saying, well, the markets are looking good. Things are looking promising. Unemployment is dropping, and the global economy seems to be recovering still, right? So off of the back of that, I don't want to buy yen, which is this slow, conservative currency. I'd rather buy something that's a little bit more oriented towards growth, like the buying the UK's currency, or in this case, maybe even the European region. So let's talk about the euro. I am bullish right now on the euro because the euro has had some very promising numbers. In fact, what I'm going to do is show you guys the latest data, which was some good news out of Germany. We'll take a look at this. German business climate hits a 2-year high. So we'll talk about this for a moment. So basically, you had some very good numbers out of Germany in terms of, you can see I'll just read it out for you. The climate indicator for Germany rose to 99.2 in May, the highest level since May of 2019, and above market expectations of 98.2. So without even understanding like the full economic breakdown of any of this, what you understand is that Germany and the European region right now seem to be outperforming. Like, there's expectations, they're doing better than expected. Okay. While that is in place, a lot of times that can happen for months and months. So when I'm looking at something like Euro Yen, it's something where, okay, it's a currency I don't really have an interest in buying. I'd actually rather sell the yen versus a currency that seems promising and seems to be doing quite well for itself. So I bought the pullback. I bought the pullback right around here, and since have been moving my stops up on this trade. So of course, with that said, that was a trade that I took and shared to members inside of the private group. If you are watching here, wherever you're watching, there should be a link down below in the description. If you are interested in joining our private Discord, you can see all of the trades that I take, as well as our two other analysts, Frank and Patrick. Patrick, by the way, is but he's living in Germany. So we've got people from around the world. We've also got a guy named Joe. He's living in Australia. So wherever you are in the world, you will likely benefit from joining us inside the private group if you have any interest. So with that said, Euro Yen, still holding on to that trade. One other yen currency pair that I am holding is Aussie Yen on the long side. So Aussie Yen, I bought down here in the lows, bought right back here. Been holding on to this trade for a minute. It's done a little bit of back and forth, but it does look like it's trying to make a push higher. So I'm recording that. You guys will see those trades on the channel. Anytime I take a trade live, I basically I record it and I publish it, win or loss. So those will be up on the channel at some point. So I have not yet moved stops on this one, but we'll see how that trade goes and if I can get a move higher. So for those of you guys who are private members, keep an eye on those Aussie Yen and Euro Yen currency pairs for any changes that might come or if things get moving again. All right, so with that said, we took a look at some yen currencies. Let's take a look at euro dollar here just to go back to our roots. We'll talk about the biggest currency pair in the world, which is actually euro dollar. The most money moves through these because they have two of the largest global economies. So the euro dollar is doing something very interesting right now. We've got some very bullish moves here for the euro dollar. You can actually see price breaking out of that range that we talked about. So you can see we had sellers here, buyers here. Basically, we're in consolidation. Prices back and forth, not super decisive. And so from here, there was not a whole lot to do until we started to see a break. Well, today we're seeing the break higher on the euro dollar, which is a huge thing. So let's check out this particular candle. So this is what I wanted to show you guys. So if we just grab this little thing here, we'll make this purple. So this candle is really interesting because you have this all of a sudden just a massive push by the bulls that got us above and actually closed us above this level of resistance there on the 4-hour chart. That's a very good thing for the euro bulls because, again, this shows us that for the time being at least, there is an influx in demand, right? So what we see here is that there's enough demand to get us past a key seller's area. That tells us that for me, pullbacks might be opportunities to go long. Now, I already said that I'm long on euro yen, so I probably won't be taking more euro trades at this time, but I am bullish on this currency pair and do think that we are probably headed to our target, which if you remember, we keep saying it on the stream. So if you tune back in each day, then you'll probably start hearing me repeat myself. But something like this, right? A move up to the previous high that we made back in January of this year. So that's my thoughts on the euro. Again, just betting with the trend here has been paying off really well. And so until that changes, then I'm probably only going to be looking for euro longs. Now, this brings me also to the dollar. The dollar has been struggling. So we'll take a look at DXY for a moment. The dollar is really trying to hold this low. So DXY is at a major area of support on the daily chart. So from a big picture standpoint, you've got this big area of demand, right? That price came back to and is now testing. If that breaks, I think from a technical analysis perspective, the dollar might have more downside to come. So what I mean is that, when you're at a key spot like this and people are saying, okay, is this the low? If the answer to that question becomes, no, it's not the low, then it's like, oh, shoot, then there might be much lower to come. So it's kind of just like it's like a barrier, right? So it's like a blockade for price. If it can bust through, then it can run away, right? So the idea here with the dollar is watching this each day. I've been looking at the DXY just to see, can we break below that? If that breaks, like I said, there might be some more downside on the dollar. So Nick, how to be you 80%? You're right with your analysis. I wish I was 80% right. Ronaldo, you might have just been watching some of my ideas when things are going really well, because I am not 80% of the time right. It would be nice though. It would be awesome to be right that often. Even if I'm just right 50-50, my goal is to just let my trades that work out run well. So I might take 5 losses, 5 wins, but my goal is to hopefully let my winners outweigh those losses. That's the whole goal. The goal with trading is not to be a predicting machine or like know where the markets are going all the time. The main focus of a trader should be to find places where you can risk small to make potential gains and that you're overall more profitable than you're losing. All right, so that's the dollar. So again, keep an eye on that one for a potential break past that low there. That will be interesting to watch. Let's take a look at the pound dollar. So just moving quite quickly today. Just taking a look at the pound, pulling back still off of this high. So right now, I actually have an alert. But let's whoops, did I just mess that up? I did. Let's put that back. So I have an alert on the pound if price decides to come back to this point, just to see if there's anything on the lower time frames that makes me want to try and get long here. Ivan says, I think you have an extra live mic. Do I? Is there something I'm missing? Is the sound all right, you guys? Just want to make sure everything is running smoothly. By the way, you guys, we have Ivan actually joining us on the second channel with his analysis after me. So the cool thing is, by having more people from different perspectives and backgrounds, it's kind of fun because you get to hear about other people's way of analyzing the market. There's not one right way to look at the markets. Sometimes you get these hot shots, not naming any names, but there's some hot shots out there who basically, think that they have the only way to make money in the markets. And it's like, there's more than one way to make money. There's plenty of people who, they may use a very different style than yourself, and it works for them, right? But anyways, the idea, okay, sound is good. Thank you guys. All right, just wanted to make sure. The idea here with the whole pound dollar putting in this top here back in March is that we retested that same spot, and for the time being, price seems to be struggling to get past. Buyers don't seem to be able to get past this level just yet. Now, that could change. You could wake up one day, something comes out for the UK that's really good, and then you get one of these big spikes to the upside that puts us over that. That is, in fact, like my favorite scenario to look for more trades on the pound. If you were to get something like this, and then a little bit of follow through, and then you get the pullback, right? Something like that. We're just drawing here at this point. Something like this could be very interesting to me for the break and retest opportunity on the higher time frames as well on the pound dollar. So I'm watching the GBP USD for now, waiting to see if we can get that break above. But I'm also interested, truthfully, in pullbacks. So sometimes I get the question, if you're willing to buy it up here, right? If I'm willing to buy this scenario, and I'm also willing to buy maybe this example right here, right? Why not just buy it right here? If you're going to buy it higher or buy it lower, why not just buy it at the current price? Well, the reason for that for me is that it's more about my risk management. So let's say we'll take both scenarios. Let's say I did find something on the lower time frames and I decide I want to take this trade and go for this, right? The cool thing is by entering at a particular point where I think that there could be some good demand, we allow the trade to take on less relative risk to what we're trying to make. So that's the idea. If we're just going to enter here, look at my stop loss in this case. If I put my stop loss in the exact same place, now you got much less, you're taking more risk for less reward, right? So for me, it's like, okay, well, let's do something like this. Shrink that stop loss a bit, be a little bit more patient for the entry if it comes, and then look for the opportunity to take minimal risk on the trade. So that is kind of why I'm trying to time my entries a little bit better. Even if they're 5% better, it's worth doing because in the long run, having slightly better entries on your trades can make a world of a difference. Okay. Nick, how many good trades have you missed throughout your career? So many. But you can always play that game. You can be like, oh, I wish I bought Doge at 1 cent and sold it at 72. But there's no use in that. The thing is, it's easy to look in hindsight and be like, I wish I did this, I wish I did that. But it's more constructive, in my opinion, to just be looking for the next opportunity. And when it comes, be ready for it with an open mind and proper risk management, right? Don't go YOLOing into stupid things. That's dangerous. So with that said, pound dollar, we looked at euro dollar. We looked at, let's look at dollar CAD. What's the CAD doing? So the CAD has been so bullish recently, and you can see, look at this thing. It's just been, the dollar CAD has been stuck in a downtrend for a long time here. And this is one that I've basically been bearish on for quite a while. I've taken a couple great CAD trades, some of which I got stopped out of, but for the most part, I've had some fairly good trades just going with this trend, going with that CAD strength. So what I mean by that is you've got for the newer traders out there, you might be saying, why is it strong if it's going down? Well, if we're looking at the dollar against the Canadian dollar, if you're saying the Canadian dollar is very strong and you're looking at USD CAD, you would expect the chart to go down, right? Which is what we see. We see bearishness on this chart because people are selling the dollar in favor of the Canadian dollar. Well, for now, that doesn't seem to be wanting to change anytime soon. We've talked many, many times. I've had people say, Nick, is dollar CAD going to form a low? Like, is it time for it to rebound? And, that's been a question on the stream multiple times. And the answer is, obviously we don't know with any certainty where the market's going, but the idea is that you don't want to try and assume just because a market is low that it can't go lower. Right? There are, for example, like penny stocks, people will try and pick up a penny stock because it's so low in price, it's got to go up from here, right? And the answer is like, not necessarily. The market can keep going a lot lower than you think. So when I look at dollar CAD, I'm not looking at it as it's a bargain to buy right here. I'm looking at it as if it retraces, I'd like to sell it and keep going with this trend. On the daily chart, you've got the 100, the 200 both lined up. Things are looking very bearish. Let's look at the 4-hour chart because maybe we can get some ideas for setups here. So if you're looking at the 4-hour chart on dollar CAD, we'll pull these moving averages off for just a moment. And let's talk about this. So dollar CAD, if you were to see the bottom form here, for example, if we take the fib from there to there, if that is in fact our low and we do see a nice retracement, you honestly, from my perspective, you don't really see great selling opportunities until you get up to like the 61.8, which is pretty far away. However, if you start seeing a market like really reverse, it doesn't take long to really spike up. So this is something that I've talked about a few times on stream. This is something that's like on my watch list and has been for a while. If you get some sort of dollar bullishness that pushes us up here, I'd probably be interested in looking for shorts on the dollar Canadian, looking for more downside for the time being. So again, that would be quite a rally for the dollar, and I'd personally be wanting to sell into that strength until things change completely. So let's say that I'm completely wrong about that scenario. It does come into play, and then it does one of these. It comes up, and then it just keeps going, right? And does one of these. In this case, I might even be looking to reverse. I might even be looking to go long. It's just one of those things. Being stubborn in markets does not pay off, and being open-minded and quick to address when you're wrong is key. It's such a skill in markets and probably just in life. Your girlfriend / boyfriend will like you a lot more. So it's one of those things. Admit when you're wrong quickly in markets. It helps me a lot. So maybe it will help you guys as well. But yeah, so that's what I see on the dollar CAD as a pullback. Could be interesting. I like that 61.8 lines up pretty well with 1.24. So that's what we're looking at. What is the euro yen stop loss? I've moved it up, Abdul. If you're inside of the private group, I sent out an alert this morning where I put my stop. I moved it up quite a bit today behind some structure, basically just seeing if we can ratchet that one up and keep going higher. So we'll see if euro yen wants to do that, but the euro yen so far has been quite well, going quite well. The King says I'm late. No problem. Welcome to the stream. Thanks for being here. If you guys would like to join our VIP community, as Dade says, check out the link down below in the description. You can get access there, and there's a promo code for you to get a discounted rate. So check that out if you do want to join our private Discord. That's where I share all of my trades. Like when I take a trade, I do like a write-up. I kind of treat it like my journal, and you can see all of those in real time. Okay, so what's next? We took a look at, I'm crossing them off in my head, pound dollar, euro yen, euro dollar, euro New Zealand. We can take a look at the Aussie, see if there's anything going on with this one today. Not too much. We're bouncing off this low yet again. But for now, it does seem like Aussie dollar, seems to just be wanting to hold this range. So I think a natural place for price to go probably would be a move up to 0.782. And the thing that I've talked about multiple times on stream is most interesting scenario to me would be looking for that breakout on Aussie dollar, and looking for the continuation there. Now, continuation to specifically that target that I've talked about. And again, you guys, if you tune into the streams every day, you'll start hearing my analysis over and over, and that's kind of okay, because one of the things about trading that people don't sort of expect when they first get into this thing is trading itself is actually very, very boring. Like when you get into trading and you think it's going to be like exciting all the time and I'm going to be like those Wall Street guys that are punching buttons all day long. Once I like actually started doing something consistently and doing it over and over and like pretty much sticking to my plan truly, trading got very, very mundane and repetitive. And I still really like studying and learning about markets. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy what I do and what I'm doing in the markets. But the truth is trading itself is a lot of waiting. It's a lot of just looking for the same setups and just sitting on the sidelines. It's kind of like, have you ever seen that, that like viral Instagram video of like a lion like waiting for its prey and all the zebras are running by, and then finally the lion jumps up and grabs the zebra. Sorry for your violence on Tuesday morning, but it's a cool video nonetheless. Anyways, the same idea happens in trading. You have like a setup like this where like, okay, I've had my eye on this for a long time. I've been waiting for this thing to set up. If it happens, then I'm going to try and jump on the prey, right? We'll see if that works out. Sometimes I'll miss completely, and that's all right as well. But the idea is like you just wait patiently, and eventually, if you're diligent enough, you catch the big one, and that's what it's all about. Yeah, it's like the lion waiting. It is indeed. You have to. It's truly like, I think the number one skill set in trading that most people lack is truthfully just patience. It's like kind of cliche. It's like, oh yeah, be disciplined, patient, consistent, all that stuff. But like truthfully, if you were patient enough to only wait for great setups, if you were patient enough to to manage your risk properly so that you don't go for giant gains overnight, if you were patient enough to journal your trading and to self-reflect, all those things come from being a patient person in the markets. And the reason I harp on this so much is because, like, personally, that's not who I am naturally. I'm a pretty impatient person. I'm a pretty like, let's go, like do it now kind of guy. And so trading, that is not a natural thing for me. So if I can sort of like train myself to be better in that area, then you guys totally can too. And so I would say, wherever you are on the patience scale, just try and get a little bit better each day, and try and force yourself to journal your trades and to back test and do all the things that are like boring, but that actually count and actually matter in your trading. So I don't know. That's just my rant for the day. Patience is not only key, I think it's like required to trading success. Like, I've never met somebody who's good in their trading area and they're not a fairly down to earth, patient, humble type of person. You get all these people who are like, flashing their big money and all this stuff. And it's like sold to the average person who's watching along with the stuff that trading is this quick way to make a lot of money. And like, you don't need to go work for your money. You can just trade and make easy money. And it's all just like nonsense. The reality is that traders who are actually out there really making money with trading, they know it's kind of a grind. It's kind of like you're always doing research and analysis and being patient and, waiting on a trade to play out. So it's the reality. Let's go to the moon, Nick. Go, says Ivan. Yeah, that's the other scenario. Like, you can be patient, or we can just go to the moon. That just makes it a lot easier. Actually, you know what? Speaking of the moon, boys, let's talk about Dogecoin today. I actually I can't believe I'm saying this, you guys. I took a very small position on Dogecoin just to make Frank happy. Frank in the office, he loves Dogecoin. I took a small bit of it yesterday, just kind of for the memes, mostly for the memes. I didn't take a lot of money on it, but I just bought it just so I could watch the price, like if nothing else, just to be a part of the fun. We'll see if I lose money with everyone else or not, but it's just for fun. Yeah, Dogecoin bouncing off the lows, of course, and seems to be holding them for now. We'll see if that can play out. But let's go take a look at gold. We'll see what's going on with XAU USD today. Let's get a hashtag gold gang going on in the chat. I'll type it in, gold gang. For my friends out there who like trading gold and watching gold, let's get some hashtag gold gangs going. Phil says, I love Doge too. Well, look at your picture. It would make sense, right? You get that cool dog in your profile picture. You got to own some Dogecoin. I'm just completely making no sense though, because I only have a cat. So I don't know. I just bought it mostly because Frank pressured me. So if I lose money, Frank, It's coming out of your paycheck. All right. So with that said, gold, we'll take a look at this one and see where this thing is going. I mentioned last time that COT report numbers were looking great for gold. We had, we'll head over here for a moment and just talk about COT reports. So gold for the second week in a row was looking fairly good. Had some nice bullishness there on, the institutional side, right? So you had big traders stepping in and buying into gold here. So looking pretty good. So you had 1 week there, and then the second week of increased buying, picking up more positions on the gold market. So the reason that that is positive is when you get the big traders jumping in, the big investors picking up gold positions, they might do it for 6 months. Right? When you get big smart money buying into gold or buying into oil or anything, right? They might want to build a position that's like billions of dollars worth of gold or whatever they're trying to buy, right? So if that's the case, they usually buy it, they accumulate it over time, right? Because they have so much money that they move the markets, right? If you had $1 billion and you all of a sudden just sold gold right now, you could probably get the price to move, right? Even though there's people all around the world trading this, you could probably get the price to move if you had, a couple $1 billion that you sold all of a sudden. So they can't do that. They don't want to do that. They want to buy in not in like secrecy, but kind of in secrecy, because they want to buy. They want to like pick up a long position and do it stealthily so that not everybody knows, oh, they're all buying right now. So they might pick up some positions on a discount. And those are the sort of things that we're looking for as traders to try and ride into that. So if we know that they're trying to pick up some gold right now, it might be worth trying to look for opportunities ourselves to go with that momentum. Now, can that change? Absolutely. They might change their mind next week, and we don't know. We don't have the pleasure of knowing what their plan is until afterwards, but we can get a general idea of what it looks like they're doing. So right now, it does look like they're accumulating gold. And so for me, pullbacks on gold are opportunities to try and look to join that buying. So for me, that's what I'm saying. I like the idea of a pullback on gold, looking for opportunities for more upside on this market. So one more thing, we'll take a look at the daily chart for a moment. So on the daily chart, we are still right now, honestly, we've come to like a grinding halt. So we were just making giant pushes to the upside. We've slowed down. And so what that could mean is that we have some profit taking and maybe we see a little bit of a discount. But I still think that a natural place for price to go would be up to our next target at 1950 there on the gold market. So watching gold this week to see if we get pullbacks, that might be opportunity, in my opinion, to look for pullback buys. That's what I will be watching for. Like I said, with that increase in demand from our COT reports, that's the most interesting play to me right now. It's pullbacks, looking for long setups on gold here. So one more thing, we'll draw a fib and see if we can line this up too. So from a technical analysis perspective, a push back to 38.2 looks really good, right? Which lines up nicely with support. So that might be an area where I could be looking for. And again, like I said, it's a lot of patience. So this is not something I can go out and buy today. In fact, if I only was trading gold in my entire account, like if all I did was specialize in gold, I would have nothing to do until this happens. Would I short it? No, because I think fundamentally it's going higher. So I probably wouldn't. I would say like there's a lower probability of having success right now, in my opinion, just my opinion, on shorting gold. I think that there's more upside for gold than downside. And so for me, pullbacks to buying areas, that's where I would stop waiting and I would start acting. I'd probably jump into some long positions. That's just, like I said, that is my take on gold. Please remember, this is not financial advice, and I am not here to tell you what to do with your money. I'm just sharing my opinions and my analysis in the markets. So I always have to say that because you never know when somebody who is brand new to trading is watching these streams and they say, oh, Nick thinks it's going higher, I'm going to go put a bunch of money on this. Please don't do that. Please be conservative. And again, like I said, it's not financial advice. I'm just sharing my thoughts and opinions. There's too many people out there who get burned in markets not knowing what they're doing. They just do stupid stuff because they see somebody say it on the internet or on TV or whatever. Don't do that. That's where a lot of people start. I don't know if anybody can relate to that, but like when I first started trading, I would just like go buy stocks because I saw them being talked about in an article. And it's like, that's not truly enough to make an investment decision. So you have to go do your full research before you put your hard-earned money on the line. Everybody works hard for their money. Don't waste it. Don't do stupid stuff. Nick says to the moon, I'm jumping in. Please don't. Your alarm is about to go off on pound dollar. Is it? Let's look. Pound dollar moving back. Yeah, look at that. It's pretty close. May have to see if I can pick up some long positions on the pound. But right now I have a couple different trades open. So I don't know if I'll take this one. I might be a little bit more patient to say, if price comes down further, maybe I look into this. Again, also might just depend on the price action that we see. If price looks like it's going to stop there for the day, maybe I'll jump into some pound dollar longs. But again, if I decide to take any trades, you guys will see it inside of the private group. I'll just show that to you guys just because I like to give that hint every once in a while as to what's going on inside of the group. So we'll pull this up. So I'm long on the euro yen. I took this trade the other day. So I mentioned that to my own surprise, I'm going long on the euro yen with recent data coming out of Europe that confirms some of the recent bullish ideas. I'm actually willing to take a buy trade here. So I took a buy trade on the pullback here. You can see there's my entry. I actually jumped in after that little rejection looking pin bar candle, jumped into the long side, put my stops underneath demand, and so far so good. Things have been doing very, very well. Here was part of the sentiment. We had flash eurozone manufacturing PMI stood at 62.8. This was basically above market expectations of 62.5. So basically liked the numbers, liked everything on the euro, and thought it had more upside. It seems like Frank took some trades this morning. We'll have to check those out after the stream. I like to just keep tabs on what everybody's trading just for ideas. But yeah, so we're long on euro yen. I'm long here at 132.74. We'll pull that up one more time just to show this. So euro yen here, I'm long as of right around here. And things are looking good so far. We'll see if we can get some more upside. I'm going to be trailing some stops, and I will be alerting that to members just after the stream. So I actually already moved my stop, and I forgot to update you guys. But that update will be coming right after the stream. Don't even worry. So with that said, you guys, I'm going to probably wrap it up. We've got another guest coming on in just a bit. His name is Ivan. He comes back each week, and he does some great analysis, and I'm very excited to see what he has for us this week. So real quick, before we go, like I said, if you do want to join our private Discord, there's a link down below in the description, and there's a promo code there for you. If you're watching here live, you get a discount for supporting the streams. Check that out and use that promo code down below in the description. Try it for a month, if nothing else. If you're interested in just trying it out, try it for a month using that code and see if it's a fit for you before you stay for the long term. With that said, we've got more content coming your way. Down below in the description, there is a the second link in the description is a link to our other YouTube channel. On that channel, we're going to be doing webinars and shows and having special guests on, and maybe even get some famous people on there at some point. So if you'd like to, you can check that out, and we're going to be going live with more market analysis with a unique strategy that Ivan employs. We're going to be hearing from him and checking out his stuff. So with that said, check Ivan out in just a bit. It's going to be starting in about 20 minutes, so you can turn on post notifications on that and tune in on the second channel. Thank you guys so much for being here with me. I hope you enjoyed today's show, and we will see you back in the next one.